Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I am going to be sharing with you 12 different spring-inspired sublimation crafts. Today we are going to be sublimating pillowcases, tote bags, phone cases, garden flags, coasters, and so much more. But before we get started, if you are new here, I would love for you to consider subscribing down below and be sure to turn on that notification bell. In today's video, we are going to be jumping right into the crafts, but if you need any help at all with starting with the sublimation process or just converting your printer, be sure to check out my last video. I'll link it down below. And in today's video, I did partner with Hiipoo, so all of the crafts you see will be made using the Hiipoo sublimation paper as well as the Hiipoo sublimation ink, and I was very impressed by it. So here is a piece of the paper, and you'll see that watermark on the back. You want to make sure that you're printing on the side that does not have the watermark. For our first craft, we are going to be making a decorative throw pillow. So I picked up this throw pillow cover from Amazon. It's 100% polyester, and I really wanted to kind of do a spring-inspired bunny. So I printed out this one here, and I just thought it was just really beautiful looking, and I was really looking forward to seeing those colors pop on the fabric. So after I printed it out, I just taped it to my pillow cover with some heat transfer tape, and I'm going to be covering it with some regular printer paper followed by my Teflon sheet. These are reusable Teflon sheets. You could also just use butcher paper as well. I will be sublimating this in my heat press for 45 seconds at 400 degrees. When you're sublimating something like a pillowcase, you do also want to put a piece of paper in between the two pieces of fabric. That way your image does not accidentally also get transferred to the back side of the pillowcase. I was so happy how this one turned out. The colors just ended up being so beautifully vibrant and crisp, and here is the finished result. Next, I'm going to be sublimating this Slate Rock. So this one is from Amazon. I'll leave it linked down below, and these are perfect if you would like to sublimate a photo onto. They come out really beautifully. But today I just kind of wanted to make a spring decor piece. So I printed out this little pickup truck that has some flowers in the back, and I did make sure to mirror it when I printed it. That way when it sublimates onto the slate, it's going to be the correct way. And I did also make sure that my image was slightly larger than the Slate Rock itself. That way it would make sure to cover the whole thing. And now I'm just going to secure it down with some heat transfer tape. On my heat press, I have my Teflon paper sheets here, and then on top of it, I have a piece of parchment paper, but you can also just use butcher paper. And for this one, I'm actually going to be placing the slate up. So I'm going to have that sublimation underneath it. And on top of that, I'm just going to be adding in another layer of parchment paper. Then on top of that, I'm just going to add in another reusable Teflon sheet. So you might have to adjust your pressure for this one. I kind of went with a bit of a lighter pressure, and I did it for 360 seconds at 400 degrees. So this one does take a bit of time, and I have to warn you that it is incredibly hot. So when you are taking it out, please be very careful. Even through my heat-proof glove, I could feel how hot it was, and I did have to let it rest for quite some time. Usually you want to get that sublimation paper off of your image pretty quickly after you're done sublimating, but if this one is just too hot to handle, I really would suggest just letting it rest for a bit before taking off your paper. So here it was when it was completely finished, and I was absolutely in love with this one. It had such a beautiful color to it and a really nice shine, and I think that this would be so fun for a photo frame. So this one actually did come with these little legs also, so you can prop it up all on its own, and I think that it just looks so sweet. Here is a closer look at the final result. Next up, we are going to be creating a customized phone case. So this one is just from Amazon. They actually have a whole bunch of different phone sizes, so just be sure to look for whatever phone you have. And the way it works is the piece that you sublimate is actually separate from the phone case itself. So we're going to attach those later. And now this is the image that I chose to put onto the phone case. It just has a really pretty floral background and then a quote in the center. And for this part of the phone case here, it does come with a protective film, and that must be removed before you sublimate. And be sure not to get your fingerprints onto that surface once you remove that protective film. I did make sure to mirror my image when I printed it out, and I also did make it slightly larger than the item itself that I was going to be sublimating. That way I knew it would fit perfectly. On my heat press, I do have my Teflon sheet followed by some paper, and then my phone case covered with some more paper, and then another Teflon sheet. And now I'm just going to be sublimating this for 115 seconds at 400 degrees. Just like the Slate Rock before, I did sublimate my phone case facing up with the sublimation paper underneath it. Now I'm just going to carefully take it out with my heat-proof glove and remove that paper, and here is how it turned out. So now to attach it to the phone case, you're just going to peel off that paper piece on the actual phone case itself, and then this metal portion is going to fit in there perfectly. And once it's on, it is very snug. There is no way that it is coming off. And I put this onto my phone and it just looked so pretty and just put such a smile on my face. Next up, we are going to be sublimating a license plate. So this one came in a pack of 2 from Amazon, and again, I'll leave all of the blanks from this video linked down below in the description box, and everything will be labeled. So these are really fun to just sublimate on because you can pretty much do whatever you want. So I went with this image here that just says Hello Spring. I created this one on Canva, and then I also wanted to add a bit of a border on the side. So you'll see once I start to tape it down how I kind of laid it out. So the license plate does also come with that protective film, so be sure to take that off before you attach it to your sublimation paper. So I'm just trying to line this one up in the center here, and I did make it slightly wider than I needed it to be just to make sure that it covered end to end. And now I'm just going to be taping it onto there with some heat transfer tape. And when I flip it over, you're going to see those 2 edges are left open and exposed, and that is where I'm going to be putting my border for the carrots. Leaving that negative space on the sides I just thought would be really fun looking and kind of different. So I'm going to be placing this with the sublimation paper facing up. Then I put some paper followed by a reusable Teflon sheet. And for this one, I'm going to be sublimating it for 75 seconds at 400 degrees. This is a great craft to do if you have kids and you want to make each one their own personalized license plate for their bedroom. I think that would be so much fun. So here is how it turned out, and I was just so pleased with how vibrant this one was and really took in that color so nicely, and images just really pop on this surface. This would also be great to put your favorite sports team or maybe the college that you or your child attends. There are honestly so many possibilities for this one. And here is a closer look on how this turned out. Next up, I'm going to be sublimating a tote bag. So this one's from Amazon. It's about a medium-sized tote bag. I'll leave it linked down below. I think it was under $10 if I'm not mistaken. And for this one, I kind of just wanted to customize it with a letter J for my name, Jessica. And I thought it'd be fun to just add some really pretty florals around the bottom portion. First, I'm just going to prep the tote bag. So I'm placing a piece of cardstock paper inside of the tote bag so I do not have any ink spilling from the top portion to the bottom portion. And now I'm just going to put it in my heat press just for a few seconds to remove any moisture that might be in the material and just to give it a nice flat surface to sublimate onto. Here's my image, and I did create this for free on Canva. And I am just going to be placing it in the center of my tote bag. And when I printed it out, I did make sure to mirror that image. On top of that, I did put some parchment paper followed by one of my reusable Teflon sheets. And this one I'm going to be sublimating in my heat press for 55 seconds at 390 degrees. And that's done. You just want to peel off that paper, and here is the finished result. I think that this would make such a great gift for moms or girlfriends, and I'm definitely going to have to make some for my friends. I am so excited to welcome the spring and get back to gardening outside, so I thought it would just be perfect to create a spring garden flag. This one comes in a 4-pack from Amazon. And here's the image I'm going to be using. So this one says Hello Spring, and I did print it out on my Hiipoo paper, and I made sure to mirror it just like before. And I also printed out these 4 corners. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do for the garden flag. So in the center here is where my image is going to be, and then I wanted to just put those flowers in the corners. I thought it would be kind of fun and different. But before I sublimate, I just have to prep it, so I did cover it up with my Teflon sheet, and I'm just going to put it in my heat press for a few seconds just to try and get some of those wrinkles out. Secured my Hello Spring image in the center of my flag with my heat transfer tape, and now I'm just going to be placing those 4 florals in the corners. So for that one, I did 35 seconds at 390 degrees. Next, you want to just carefully remove that paper from your flag. Here is a closer look of the final result. I think this one is just really beautiful and again, so customizable. I think I might make another one with our family name in the center. I think that could be really cute too. These flags are one-sided, so I wanted to just show you what the back of it looks like. You just basically see that image kind of faded, but this is the front portion and I think it is just so lovely and ready for my garden. I spend many hours working at my computer, so I thought that this would be the perfect time to upgrade my mouse pad. So this is one of the blank Sublimation mouse pads. This one's from Amazon. It came in a pack of 5, and I thought that a cherry blossom print would just be so perfect to kind of just brighten up my desk. I thought it would be just the perfect addition for spring. So I printed this one out slightly larger than the actual mouse pad itself, since I did want it to cover the entire surface. And now I'm just going to be sure to center that to make sure that it is exactly where it's supposed to be, and then I'm going to secure it to my paper with some heat transfer tape. I did just tape down the 2 sides, but I would suggest taping all 4 just to make sure your image does not move around at all when you are putting it in the heat press. And I did place some paper on top, followed by a sheet of my reusable Teflon paper, and this one I did for 40 seconds at 380 degrees. When that's done, you want to just quickly remove that paper in one upward motion. And here is my final mouse pad. The mouse pad is also great at soaking up that color. You can see there is almost nothing left on that paper. And here is a closer look at that finished result. Next up, I'm going to be making some coasters. So these coasters are actually really similar to the material for the mouse pad. So they're kind of flexible, but they're just much smaller and so cute looking. So I'm going to be doing 4 today. And for these, I printed out 4 different spring-inspired images. So I have some flowers, a Hello Spring one, another one with a bicycle, and I did make sure that these images would fit on these coasters perfectly. I was able to fit all 4 images on one sheet of paper, and I did make sure just to mirror it when I printed it because a couple of them did have words on it and I wanted them to face the right way when I was all done sublimating them. So after I taped on that paper, I just put them on my heat press. I put some just regular printer paper on top, and then I followed that with one of my reusable Teflon sheets, and I put it in my heat press for 40 seconds at 400 degrees. Then I just quickly removed that paper, and here is a closer look at how they turned out. I think that these are just really adorable. I think I just like that they're kind of mini mouse pads. They just look really fun. And the only thing I would say is I wish I did add a background color because I think it would have made them pop so much more. Even if I just went with like a turquoise color or maybe a light pink, but I am happy with the way they turned out. I think that they're still really cool. I always have a small mirror in my makeup bag, so I thought it would be really fun to try and sublimate my own. So I got this one from Amazon, and it does come with these little discs. So this one came in a pack of 6, I believe, and you'll see here, this is what we are going to be sublimating it on, and then afterward, we are going to attach it to the mirror. So this one does come with the protective film, so be sure just to peel that off. And then for my image, I just went with these peonies. I thought they were just so beautiful. A peony is definitely one of my favorite flowers, so I thought it would be really great for a little hand mirror. So I did make that circle just slightly larger, and then I secured it on with some heat transfer tape. I'm going to be putting some paper on top and then sublimating it for 30 seconds at 380 degrees in my heat press. The disc itself is aluminum, so it will cool really quickly, but when you do first take it out of the heat press, it's going to be hot, so be sure to put your heat glove on. And here it is when I had all that paper off. So now we just want to secure this to the actual mirror. So to do that, I'm just going to be getting some E6000 glue. The mirrors themselves do not come with an adhesive to attach the disc, but it's totally fine because this glue worked perfectly. Just put a couple of dabs in the center there, and then I attached my disc by just applying some light pressure, and then I let it dry completely. This was such a fun and easy sublimation, and I think I definitely want to make one with a monogram on it next. And here is a closer look at that final result. These card holders are great for holding a credit card or just some money when you're on the go. So these ones are from Amazon. They came in a pack of 6, and it does come with this adhesive back, but we're going to put that to the side for now because we don't need that yet. First, we just want to sublimate that front portion that is white. So to do this, we do have to kind of cover up that leather or leatherette portion at the top, that brown portion, and you do have to put some parchment paper inside. If you do not do this, it will fuse together in the heat press and it will not be usable. For the image that I printed out, I just went with 3 cacti and the phrase "can't touch this." It's a bit of a pun, I just thought it was kind of funny. And it doesn't look that vibrant here, but once the heat will kind of just press that image into the card wallet, it's really gonna pop. So I made sure just to kind of size it where it would just cover the bottom portion and not interfere with the top part that I put the parchment paper on. So for this one, I did 40 seconds at 356 degrees. And here is how it turned out. So once it was in the heat press, it really did pop a lot more. And I think this one just turned out really sweet. After sublimating is when you can attach that sticky adhesive that it comes with if you want. That way you can just adhere it onto any surface. So a really popular one is to add this to the back of a cell phone case. That way you can just put a little bit of money or maybe a card if you're going out for a walk, and that way you don't have to bring a wallet. I think a really fun idea is also just to put it on a journal. That way you can just stash something little in there. Or you can actually just use this as a gift card holder when you give it to someone if you wanted to just add a really nice personal touch to that gift. I have never created a personalized puzzle before, so I was very excited to try this one out. So this one came in a pack of 10. I'll leave these linked down below, but they're specially made for sublimating, and this was one of my favorite items from this video. It turned out so beautiful. So I just printed out this picture of a flower that my husband took when we were on vacation. I just thought that it would be fun for a puzzle, and since this was my first one ever, I wanted to go with something pretty simple. So I just attached it to my paper with my heat transfer tape, just like before, and I did put it with the paper facing up, and I'm just going to put a couple pieces of regular printer paper on top and then follow that with my reusable Teflon paper. For the puzzle, I did 45 seconds at 400 degrees in my heat press. As always, you just want to be careful when you're opening up that heat press, and I did have my heat-proof glove here, and then I just peeled off that paper, and I was so surprised at how vibrant this one was. I figured it would be, but it was looking a little bit different on the printed paper, but once that heat hits it, this one popped so well. I was just really happy with the way that this ink infused into the puzzle. Puzzles are another great option for a gift for someone. They're really fun to customize. I think that this would be so cute to give as a gift to a kid. Maybe put a family picture on it or just an image of one of their favorite superheroes, and I think it would be a really big hit. For our last craft, we are going to be sublimating a bath mat. So this one's from Amazon. It came in a pack of 2, but I have seen other people sublimate bath mats that they pick up at Walmart. So I think that could definitely work as well. So this is another one you could really get creative, or you can keep it pretty simple. So I went kind of fun today. So for this one, I did put down my Teflon sheet, but then I did put a large piece of parchment paper. I was a little nervous how the bottom of the mat might react to the heat, but honestly it was perfectly fine. I had no issues at all. And for the center, I chose this lemon that says "squeeze the day." I thought it was just really fun and positive. I put this one in my heat press for 85 seconds at 375 degrees. So here is how that center one turned out, and I could have left it just like this. I think it looked really cool, but I decided to add some smaller lemons towards the sides just to kind of act like a border. I thought it would be really fun. So I kind of ended up just dividing it into 3 different sections. So when I wanted to do each side, I just turned that side to fit under the heat press. And here is how it turned out. So I was just rubbing it there to show you that the ink really did just kind of get in there really well. And even when I moved the mat around, it still had that perfect image. So that was definitely a really fun one to try out. And those are all of the sublimation crafts that I have for you guys today. I really hope that you enjoyed them, or maybe they just kind of sparked some inspiration for an idea that you might have. But this is just such a fun time of year, and I'm so ready to welcome the spring. Thank you so much for watching. If you would like to subscribe to my channel, you can do so by just clicking my picture right here. And be sure to check out this video for some more crafting fun.